everyone. Today we'll be making these Christmas decorations, which are made with cardstock and some printed paper. Let's get on to it. We will go to Pages, or if you have Microsoft Word, you can use that. I made the circles out of 6 centimeters and I inserted the pictures inside, then printed them out, and I used a cut dies to cut the circles. Now let's get into the baubles. Cricut design space, circle of 7 centimeters first, and then we will add the top bit, and so we use that special shape, and we're gonna change the measurement to 4.22 centimeters, and that's going to give us the perfect size for it. And then you just accommodate and put it in the bubble as you think it will be best for your project. So just eyeball it and do it. We're gonna select and weld. Okay, so go to combine and then weld. We will now use another circle, which is going to be 1 centimeter, and I changed the color just because it's easier to see it, and we're going to send this one back. So we're going to be able to put this on top, and then we can do action of a slide, and so this will give us the little hole there to add our ribbon or cord. So we select both, and then you slice. So we slice and we get that. I think I duplicated it and then delete. So you have to delete those 2 bits. We're going to make a duplicate of that one, and that's our bottom out. The first one is the bottom, so it's solid. And for this, we need to take the inside. So this is how we make the front of this flat bubble, okay? And that's gonna be 6 centimeters. Again, I use another color just to help me eyeball it, okay? And we send that one back. We will make sure this is centered. You see, make sure it's centered. I'm just making sure it's not in the wrong position. We will select both, and again, a slice. I love the slice action. We take both out, the top and the original bottom. We're going to make a duplicate. I made 3 just to tell you that you can make as many as you want, and depending on what you really need these, like if you just want one just to cover it, or you need more to make more of a surface. And this one, the last bit that we're going to get now, it's 7 centimeters, and this is going to be optional, mica or acetate to make the transparency to go on top. I'm using this glitzy glitter cardstock. That's acetate, a Cricut brand. That's what I got. For the glitter cardstock, I used the other one, the glitzy, because it's very soft. I still use the same setting for cutting glitter cardstock, but I love it because it's nice and soft. It doesn't really damage too much my blade. And that's, as I told you before, I use my Sissix, my big shot, and I cut the circles. It just saved me cutting it with the Cricut, so you make most of your paper. You can actually, I use printable vinyl. You can use anything and just use glue to glue it onto your paper, right? But you don't have to use printable vinyl. That's what I use for mine, just to make it a bit easier, that's all. I saved all the insides of those circles, all the circles, the small ones and the inner ones from the big ball, because I could use them for another project. Now we will start with this. So that's my sticker. I'm going to place it in the center. Again, I'm eyeballing it. I could probably use some tool to do that, but I think, and I'm using my wither just to give it a little I can see it. Probably you won't be able to see it on the video, but you can actually see the little line in there. It will just help me to make sure I'm not placing it too far from the center. So that was easy, and I'm sticking it to the center. Again, you could just use normal copy paper and you'll be able to get the same result. And this is my favorite glue at the moment. It's just like the hot glue gun, but it's cold. It's silicone, cold silicone. Usually when I'm recording it, it looks like I'm having a lot of trouble, but it's actually not as troublesome to do so. And I use the tip just to spread the glue around, and it works really well. So for this project, this particular piece, I'm using 2 pieces of this sliced cardstock. Okay, for the window, I'm using one, and then I add a second one. But you can really go with 2. It's just like that, it will be fine. And I'm going to add in between, I'm going to sandwich this piece of acetate. But that's again something that you don't have to do. It just added protection, maybe give it an extra shine, but it should be fine without it. And I'm adding the glue. As I told you before, it seems like I'm having a lot of trouble doing this, but I think it's probably the fact that I've got the camera in between my project and my eyes. Okay, we spread a bit of extra glue there. It's very powerful, this glue, and I love it because we don't have to deal with the burning of your fingers, and you've got more time to actually move like I'm doing there. I'm making sure it's all lined up. Okay, so we have to take the protection of both sides, and as you can see, I didn't cut. I should have probably placed that little hole a bit higher up, or cut the acetate so you couldn't see it through. It's not a big thing, but for the next one you'll see that I do that. And I'm telling you now, you could obviously do it when you do your own project. Just make sure you don't have that extra piece of plastic if you're using the plastic. You could probably use less glue that I use, and it will work the same. And then take your time to line it up and let it dry. Okay, so you see now I cut a bit of it, and then you won't be able to see that part showing up. Now for this bauble, I decided to add extra pieces of the windows so I could make a higher surface, and we can actually make a shaker. I don't know why I'm adding the glue to that instead of adding it to the base, which would have been a lot easier, but we're going to add a few of these layers so we can create depth required to make a nice shaker. For this one I added 8 pieces, and I used craft cardstock, so we're going to add a few more. added all these layers and I'm making sure that they are aligned nicely, and I'm gonna leave this for a little bit. Now, as I told you, I saved those extra pieces that came from the bubbles, and I'm going to add some of this glue. Looks a bit dry, but it kind of works in the center. And I will stick some of these beads that I've got. They're like kind of a rhinestone, double pointed rhinestones, which doesn't matter because I wanted to add these to for the shaker. The thing is that if I try leaving them without the bead at the bottom on the back, and they wouldn't move, they would stay on one spot, and I want them to move around, so that's why I added that little extra piece of that beads or rhinestones or whatever you have that it can resemble like a ball, so they can actually move around. I use some, these are called Sequins, and you can find them in AliExpress. I'm going to leave lots of links to the things that I've used, so if you're willing to use the same, you can go to those. So you see, and that makes them go around, and I have plenty, but I didn't want to add too many because like you know, they're 1 centimeter, so I didn't want to have that many going around the picture. Okay, and I'm saving this for another project, and that's it. So I'm placing them around. I'm rushing it probably a bit, but I just really want to get it done. Now we will prepare the window part of it and the top. So this is the last layer of glitter cardstock, and we will add some glue to that, and then we're going to get our mica or acetate or anything really. You can even use if you have old Cricut mats and the cover and you've got them lying around, you could use that, and they will serve the same purpose really. And then we will make sure everything is working all good, and I had to fix some bits of glue that I had in there. It's not very important, but I wanted it to look neat. Now we're ready to place the last layer, and I'm very happy how this one turned out. Even though it seems like it was a lot of work, it wasn't. It's just a long video, that's all. I just decided in the last minute that I should have made a tutorial, and that's why there are spots where I didn't record it, because I decided while I was making it that I should make this a nice story, because it looks really pretty. As you can see, all the layers make a nice shaker, and you can add it for a Christmas tree or even as a gift tag if you add a piece at the back with the name, even the same pieces that we saved from the bubbles. Now I'm using this cord. You can use a ribbon, anything that you've got at home, and just using it, passing it through the hole to make a loop, and then again. So that's it. And to secure it, you have to, that kept happening, but I decided to make a knot, and that really helped. I hope you enjoyed making this with me, and I can't wait to hear from you and see what you've done. As you can see here, I have some examples of ones with the plastic on top and without it, and really it doesn't make a huge difference. I really like the fact that we can make the shaker, but if you're not making a shaker, probably you could just leave it like that and make most of your materials that you've got at home. So basically you need 2 pieces per bubble and a sticker or just printed paper. And I found these funny illustrations. Some of them they're not funny, but some of them they are. And Creative Fabrica, I will leave the link below for you to purchase them. So they're really worth it, and they make this a really fun project, not your ordinary bubbles. And also you can personalize them even more. You can add names, etc. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.